go ahead and check them out if you're looking for something a little different than the everyday headlines. Let's get moving on here. Now, first of all, this is something I think everybody should probably watch right now. Oh, let me go ahead and pause that. Well, actually, I don't want to do what I just did. So I actually want to finish watching this later. So far, I've watched like the first half of this. It's Raul Paul's. He reveals big opportunity at Sui Base Camp 2025. It's a presentation he did like yesterday, I think. That got put on YouTube. It's been very interesting so far. I think you probably should watch this and get capture some of that macro data that he's got to throw out there. I found it very interesting. You should probably check that out. Okay. Anyways, the next thing, U.S. is set to make a deal with the UK. That came out 2 hours ago. If we go to, I believe, Trump's Twitter. Well, first of all, this is something to watch. Big news conference tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. He posted this yesterday. That's 10 a.m. today. That's in less than 1 hour from right now. The Oval Office, morning at 10 a.m. in the Oval Office concerning a major trade deal with representatives from a big and highly respected country, the first of many. Is this something reminiscent of the "it might be a good time to buy" tweet, perhaps? I'm not sure. Lots of people are speculating. I'm going to assume that it's not Britain since he already announced that in here. Let's see. The agreement with the United Kingdom is a full and comprehensive one that will cement the relationship between the United States and the United Kingdom for many years to come. This came out 3 hours ago. I don't think he would be announcing it on Twitter if he's going to have a whole press conference about it. I assume it's a different country. Could be India. It could be China. Hopefully, it's not something underwhelming, at which point we would see the market drop. So you might want to keep your eyes on that at 10 a.m. Okay, we might see an all-day rally off of that. Okay. Unusual whales. Let's see, anything I need to look at in unusual whales? No. Okay, that's it. That's it. All right, let's go look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin got so super close to $100,000 in the night. Here we got up to $99.9 thousand here. On Bitcoin, we're getting back into my ascending channel here. So we came out of my descending channel here. This little flag came out of that like crazy. We went up all the way from 93,000 all the way up to 99,000 within a 3-day period, 3 candles here. What I'm looking for now is either a break of that $100,000 or a slight retracement back down to perhaps 96, 97,000, somewhere in there, and then a retry for 100,000 again. That's what I'm looking for, unless this big announcement at 10 a.m., which that's not the tweet, unless this big announcement at 10 a.m. sends this thing flying higher. We'll see. So I'm watching Bitcoin for that. I'm looking for maybe a little retracement down and then a blast off from there, or just an absolute blast off past $100,000 off this news, at which point I wouldn't be surprised to see it come all the way to the top of my channel in the next couple of days at 108, which would be testing the all-time high of Bitcoin. Okay, and how am I positioning myself for this right now? I brought up yesterday in the channel that lots of big institutional buyers were going into CleanSpark, IREN, and BitDeer. I did miss one yesterday. Mara was getting some pretty significant institutional buying. Here, I'll just read it off real quick. I don't feel like splicing a bunch of video this morning. I'm tired. I know, that's just me being lazy. I'm sorry. But let's go over into the Webull app real quick. Let me just bring it up on my phone, and I'll look at a couple here. So in, April. Some have come in for April. BlackRock Fund Advisors reduced their Mara position in April by 3%. So a little bit of trimming in April. But in State Street added 5% in April, though. Oh, that's exciting. I'm going to have to look at this later and maybe post another video later today. Anyways, we can see that. All right, so BlackRock Institutional in March added 7% or 3.26 million shares to their Mara position. 3.26 million in March. And that would be between a price of, let's get in here, of $11 to $15 here, and we're currently right smack dab in the middle of that. They added 3.26 million in that space. Okay, so we're talking about a $30 million plus move there for them. Another BlackRock investment one added 15% or 128,000 shares. Let's see, there's one that added 23% or 246,000 shares. I don't see any big sales out of it. Let me see. There's one in here. Oh, yeah. BlackRock UK added 1.8 million shares, or a 100% increase, which was a double down for them. Were there any others? Teacher Retirement System doubled down with 49,000 shares in March. These are March numbers, by the way. Let's see whether there anything else that was super interesting and needed my attention from that. I'm not seeing anything else. That's it. Okay. That's all the interesting ones. So Mara is also getting some significant big high dollar increases in investment for them here in institutional investment. And as you can see here, I'm going to go ahead and draw something on here. Well, I'm looking at an inverted head and shoulders that once we get back into this channel here above that like $14 level on Mara, I'm looking at it to potentially go much higher, much faster, maybe hitting $20 here in the next couple of months or weeks, perhaps, which would come right back up to that most traded level and also be the end of this inverted head and shoulders, which is an area where we would need to see a new bullish structure to form to potentially take us all the way back up to 30. I do see Mara hitting 30. I think we could easily see Mara hit 30 again. Maybe even drive a little higher and maybe touch 35. I don't know if we'll go much higher than that, but that I do think is a possibility. I think we could hit 30 again by the end of the year, maybe even 35, possibly 40, unless Bitcoin gives us a really crazy blow off top. I'm looking at 40 as probably my highest prediction right now. Of course, predictions are worthless until the price action shows that it's willing to do that, but that's what I'm watching. That's what I'm eyeballing right now. If I see any weakness at 30, I'd be out. If I saw strength at 30 but weakness at 35, I'd be out at 35. You see what I'm saying? Like those sorts of scenarios. Okay. Anyways, that's what I wanted to cover today. We're seeing some really significant moves up in a lot of the crypto space here. Ethereum actually finally starting to wake up there. We're finally seeing some decent moves out of Soxel, which is the semiconductor fund. Something super important. So if you remember on the income machine, and I'll have to do a new income machine here this week, maybe tomorrow or the next day, we were doing App Lovin'. App Lovin' is up 15.97% this morning off of good earnings. I opened a position before close yesterday. I opened it way too far out of the money. I should have gone closer. That's okay. That's fine. This morning I should be profiting handsomely off of that. So that's going to be really, really nice for me. Though I will expect some sort of retreat from this, because if you look, we stopped. You can see that orange line right there. We stopped right at the high here. Right at the high there. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this retreat all the way back down to like maybe 322, maybe coming back down to the middle of this channel down here at 313, perhaps. And if we go into like the 2-hour chart, let's take a look. Did we go higher? We did go slightly higher. We did wick above there. Like if we come over here, we did wick above it and come back in and start making some. So if we close a candle, like if we close a 2-hour candle underneath 341, we're going to come back and back test the top of this channel here, which would be today about 330. If we go back into the channel, we're going to test this structure down here, which is going to be between 309 and 293. So watch those for App Lovin' if you're watching App Lovin' at all. If you're not watching things, some of the alternative plays outside of Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners that I talk about, well, then you've been missing out a lot, because I've talked about App Lovin', which is doing great. I've talked about TEM, which came down, but it's been recovering nicely. I've talked about HIMS, which has been on just a meteoric run over and over again. I mean, it's going on its second meteoric run right now. You can see that. I've talked about VRT, which is, and I've talked about VRT 2 different occasions. Once when it was in the 80s, all the way back here in 2024 or mid 2024. I talked about it in the 80s, and then I talked about it all the way from the 80s down to the 50s here, and before. Now it's back in the 90s on VRT. I've talked about ACMR several times down in the teens, and watched it go up into the 20s and low 30s here a couple of times. I talked about ARM back when it came out, and it was trading at it was trading back here at like 50, 60 bucks, saying that this was an interesting one, and it went all the way up to almost 200. We had some bad earnings today on ARM, so that might be an opportunity. I'll be looking at ARM very closely. So if you're just here for the Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners, you're doing yourself a disservice. Oh yeah, I talked about Palantir in the 20s. and I traded it from the 20s all the way up to 126. Made a ton of money on that. That was great. Yeah, you're doing yourself a disservice if you're only here for the Bitcoin miners. There's a whole lot of other things going on out there, and sometimes I hit it out of the park. Sometimes I do very, very badly. Like initially Soxel burned me pretty good. TMF, the bonds, those burned me pretty good. IWM, that almost burned me. I didn't get into it, but that almost burned me pretty good. So, you know, you win some, you lose some, but my winners have definitely outweighed my losers here, which is all we're really aiming for at least all I'm aiming for as a investor and trader is, more wins than losses, so I can stay in the game long enough to hit those home runs. Anyways, that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description, as well as the channel bio, and have a profitable day.